Hey bakers, it's me Haley, and today is the beginning of my 12 days of Bakemas. And for the 12 days of Bakemas, what I will be doing is I will be cooking 12 treats throughout the weeks of December. So I'm going to be doing 3 treats a week, and today's treat is I'm going to be making, if you can't already tell, caramel and chocolate covered pretzels. So all you would be needing is some type of pretzels. We got the twisty pretzels. You're going to be needing some type of melting chocolate or almond bark. I have white and red chocolates right here. And you will also be needing, obviously, caramel. So we got caramel bits. You'll be needing bowls for however many things you're doing. So I'm going to be needing a bowl for white, a bowl for red, and a bowl for caramel. And then you will be needing some type of vegetable shortening or Crisco. So step 1, I'm going to move everything out of the way, and then I will start making my treats. And you'll also be needing spoons for however many things you are making. I also forgot, you're going to be wanting a pan and tin foil. You're going to want to line your pan with tin foil because once you dip your pretzels in your caramel, you're going to want them to set up and harden before you get them before you dip them into the chocolate. So I'm going to line my baking pan with tin foil. So now I have my baking sheet lined with foil, and I'm going to set it to the side, and then I will start on melting my caramel. Alrighty, so now I'm going to be needing one of my spoons and my caramel. So I'm going to, I think, start with just doing one bag, and then when that one bag runs out, I will make the other bag because I don't want to make too much caramel. So I'm going to grab my scissors, and I'm going to cut the top of the bag of my caramel. Smells so good. I love caramel. But before you do anything else, you're going to want to wash your hands. Alright, so now all my caramel is in here. And what it says on the bag for when you cook it, you're going to want to put it in, you're going to want to put a little bit of water in here. It doesn't say necessarily how much, so I'm just going to put a little bit of water in there. I'm guessing how much water is in there is like how liquidy it will be. And then it says to put it in the microwave for 2 minutes and then do 30-second intervals until your caramel is fully melted. Alrighty, so while my caramel is in the microwave, I wanted to tell you, every day, or hopefully every day, of Bakemas that I do, I am going to be having a special guest taste tester. And today, my special guest taste tester lives in my house. And every day, I will be given one hint, so then you can try and guess who my special guest taste tester is. And right now, since I don't know how long my pretzels are going to take, I'm going to open up my pretzels and bring my pan over here that's lined with foil so that I can be ready to dip. For this next step, which is taking out the caramel, your bowl is going to be very, very hot. So you're going to want to get some type of oven mitt or towel to grab it out. The oven mitt I have, it says eat, drink, and be merry. And so I'm going to grab my caramel out with my oven mitt. And be careful with that step. So all of the water rose up to the top, and not all the caramel, as you can see, is melted. So I'm going to put it back in for 30 more seconds and let it sit in there for 30 seconds and see if some of the caramel actually melts. So my 30 seconds is up, and I'm going to grab it out again. This time I need to be more careful because last time I got it all over my oven mitt. So I'm going to get a towel as well to get it out. And I successfully got it out this time. So now again, I'm going to stir it up. And I'm going to just let it melt. So I think I added too much water. So all you're going to do if you add too much water is get more of your caramel bits from your next bag and just put it in there and let that melt, because this actual caramel is starting to melt more now, but it is still very watery and you're going to want it thick. This part, you're going to want to be careful again because the water could splash up and burn you. So now I'm going to kind of mix those in, because the water isn't really like water anymore, it's more thick. It's kind of almost like the texture of gravy now. So I'm going to put it in for, I think this time I'm going to do 45 seconds. So the 45 seconds did do quite a bit. It's thicker now, and most of the caramel is melted, but I'm just going to throw in another handful of caramel bits and put it in. I'm going to hope after this 45 seconds it will be done. That is what the caramel looks like right now, and those bubbles just means that it's getting thicker. As you can tell now, it's getting thicker, and I will have to put it in for a little bit longer, but it's definitely getting thicker, and it is starting to make my whole entire house smell like caramel, which is making my mouth water. Bits are melted, it is getting thicker, so I'm going to just do 30 seconds and just kind of let it hopefully melt, and I'm going to go put all the pretzels out on the pan. Alrighty bakers, so now, like I said, I'm going to place these pretzels on my pan, and my caramel is about to beep, so I'll just open it and kind of let it sit in there. I'm going to just kind of lay these pretzels out on the pan so then it's easier for me to grab them. We're going to put them all on one side, and we're not going to put the whole bag out yet, but hopefully we will make the whole bag. And I was just letting the caramel sit for a few seconds because sometimes that's another thing, that letting the caramel sit will make it a little bit thicker. So hopefully all the caramel is melted. And yes, it is. As you can see, the caramel is still pretty liquidy, but we will let it sit for like 30 seconds out and more cool, and hopefully that will make it thicker. Alrighty, so our next step is we're going to dip all of our pretzels into our caramel. And the caramel now is about like caramel syrup, and I think that'll be fine. I think it'll be good. So I'm going to start with this pretzel, and we're going to dip it about halfway to 3/4 the way in, and then we're just going to set it on our pan, and I'm going to repeat this for all my pretzels. Alrighty bakers, so I have all of my caramel, or I have the caramel on my pretzels, and I definitely have a lot more caramel left, so I might make another treat with it, make something caramel dipped, but not in this video. So now I'm going to let these sit in my refrigerator for about, I would say 7 minutes. Alrighty bakers, so I just touched the first pretzel that I made and that I dipped in caramel, and it is already starting to harden. So I'm just going to let these sit out without using the fridge, because I also don't have very much room left in my fridge. And I am going to start melting my melting chocolates. So I am going to start by melting my red chocolate. So I am going to be needing a spoon And this is where the Crisco or vegetable shortening comes in handy. So you're going to want to open your chocolate, and there's a big piece that I need to break up. That's all kind of sticking together. And I don't think you're gonna need this whole bag, so I'm not gonna add a whole bunch of chocolate, like half the bag. And for cake balls, I would usually do the whole bag, but for these pretzels, they're smaller and don't need as much. And for vegetable shortening, you're just gonna want like that much. And once again, like I showed you guys how to make cake balls a couple of years ago, like 1 or 2 years ago, you need quite a bit of shortening or Crisco. And for these, you don't need as much because you need the chocolate to harden it more. For the chocolate, I am going to start it on 1 minute, and I'm going to do 1 minute, and then I will do 30-second intervals in and out of the microwave. I'm going to tell you where I got everything from. So these caramel bits are from Uni Foods, and then the chocolate and vegetable shortening are from Walmart, and the pretzels are also from Uni Foods, but you can get pretzels really at any store, even a gas station. Alrighty, so I just realized I have quite a bit of my caramel left over. So, and my chocolate, none of it's melted yet. And if it is, I could put it back in. It'll be fine. So I'm going to actually be dipping more pretzels because my caramel right now is super thick now. So I'm going to get another pan, line it with more foil, and do a whole nother pan of pretzels. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the last batch of pretzels. Just dip them and put them on the pan, but this time I'm going to put them closer together so that I can try to fit almost the same amount of pretzels that I did on that pan. Alrighty, bakers, so I have this whole pan also filled with pretzels. And now I'm going to get back to melting more of my melting chocolate while I let these 2 pans of pretzels harden. And I'm going to let this put it away. So my chocolate, I put it in for 1 minute and 25 seconds and for the first time, and it's already getting super melty, as you can see. And since the caramel wasn't super thick, you're going to want this to be thick so it'll stick, and it won't like drip off super easily. But I'm going to put it back in for probably 25 more seconds, and we will get the rest of the chunks out. And you don't want the chocolate or the caramel to be super chunky, but also it doesn't have to be all the way melted, because if it's super hot when it first comes out, those chunks will melt. Like my caramel had a few chunks in it, they were gone by the time that I started dipping pretzels. Chocolate is hopefully done. And if you don't add the vegetable shortening, it will be super, super thick, and you don't want it super thick. And me and my mom like using Crisco better than the Great Value vegetable shortening, because this stuff makes it more like oily, makes the chocolate more oily. But that's okay in this case. Like on cake balls, if it's too oily, the chocolate will kind of just fall right off. And in this case, hopefully it won't. It all melted, and now I'm going to take it over to the table. Alrighty, bakers, so as I said earlier, the chocolate is all melted, and we're going to start with the big pan because it has been sitting longer in this little pan I just dipped. So we're going to start dipping, and for chocolate, I am going to show you what to do because I'm not just going to randomly dip. The chocolate is going to be a little more kind of fancy, maybe, if you wanted to say that. So you're going to get your caramel dip pretzel and you're going to dip it, but you still want to be able to see some of the caramel, kind of like that. And you're going to want to do that to the whole entire pan. Alrighty, bakers, so I got my first pan done, and I will show them to you right now. But I have to put in more chocolate to get these pretzels done. So I decided I'm actually not going to be using the white chocolate. So I'm just going to have them dipped into red chocolate like this. And my special guest taste tester will be coming in shortly. And I didn't make very much chocolate because I don't have very many pretzels left to dip. And those pretzels went very good for dipping. And these ones, the caramel was a little thicker when I put it on since I let the caramel sit a little longer. I'm just looking, whoa. So now the caramel back here, I sat it in the sink. It's way thicker now, but my chocolate is about to beep again. And today's special guest taste tester is my mom. So she's going to be trying my caramel and chocolate dipped pretzels. There you go. They're a little sticky because of the caramel.
Very tasty. 10 out of 10.
Is this something they should try to make?
Yes, I think so.
And you can use any kind of pretzels. You can use the big pretzel rods. You can use the super thin pretzels. And we tried to look for normal, like the big pretzel rods, but they didn't have any at our store. So we just got these. I think they're probably better than the big pretzel rods. What do you think?
They're delicious.
And stay tuned and keep watching for new videos because every week I will be having 3 videos posted for my 12 Days of Bakemas. Merry Christmas.